Hi there, Kelvin Holiday here, Transformational Group, and today I just want to actually talk to you about how to build a team that's really effective. I don't know about you, but quite often you'll see this little chart over here beside me that we've actually had an organisational structure where it goes, now up the top here is your CEO or your organisation or your general manager, all right, and it branches down into all these other areas. And for me, I've always wondered, why do we do that? We always talk about how we should surround ourselves with the right people. And so I've been challenged to think, how do we actually model as an organisational structure, and how do we start to think differently about the way in which we build a team? Because the reality is, top down doesn't work. If you surround yourself with the right people, it does. So let me just give you an idea of the 5 areas. I call it the pod system, and it's actually an organic DNA sort of system that will actually work and help you to grow a team that's highly effective, has the right structural elements to it, and will make a difference to the way in which you grow organically, keeping the right culture. So the first one, and this one sits right in the center, and as you see in this little graphic here, it's about the adventurer. The adventurer is that person that actually holds the vision for that particular area. Now, if you've only got a team of 3 to 5 people, that would be you as the business owner or the CEO, general manager. So you put yourself in that center, and you're the adventurer, the person who carries the vision, who wants to actually understand, and you're carrying the purpose, and you're living this thing with absolute passion. But the reality is, as a passionate sort of person, quite often, we get a little bit of a lack of detail. And so there's a whole bunch of personality profiles you can go through. There's Myers-Briggs, there's the DISC profile that can help you understand your personalities. I've actually got another little profiling tool down below here, a couple of questions that will help you understand which one of these categories you're in. Maybe it's a good idea to actually go down and have a look at that one after you listen to this video. But let's just think about this adventurer. How is it that this adventurer starts? Well, it all starts with dreaming, creating a vision for the future. Dream, and big. And then you start to get running and you start to do some stuff, and then you start to build your team around you. One of the areas that you need to think about is the second one, which is your planner. The person who's actually got a very strategic mind, but can also capture the vision that's within you. Now, the skill set of that person doesn't particularly matter, but typically that person might become your general manager long term. But those are the people who are energetic still. They're still an energetic sort of personality like you need to be, vibrant, charismatic, but they carry this strategic element that thinks very step by step into a little bit more detail. The next one you want to think about is then, in some respects, how do you build your sales side of area? How do you actually build and start to diversify? And that's called your empowerer. This empowering person is a person that holds the DNA, but they're really passionate about telling as many people as possible. They are the charismatic person that takes what you're thinking about as the adventurer, and they're going to spread the word, so to speak. The fourth one is now where we start to slow down a little bit, realizing that if you get an adventurer, a planner, and an energizer together, you've got 3 people of high energy, and now you're actually going to be doing things at such a fast pace that sometimes you're going to miss the detail. So you need to start to get some balance. I call these 3, the adventurer, planner, and the energizer, the apes. We love to swing by the chandeliers, we love to hang around, we like to beat our chest and do stuff, but we're not much into the detail. And we need the balance. And this is where the shepherds come in. The shepherds are those people who say, how do people feel about that? What's the emotional part that we've really got to start to think about? It's a very important balance you need to have within a team. If you don't have somebody who's going to say and stop and say, how do people feel? What's the emotions that are going on here? How are we actually working collaboratively as a team. If you don't have that, your team will very quickly start to burn out. And the fifth one is what I call the teacher. These are the people who cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure every single detail is right. Now, for me, who's an adventurer type, I love to get out there and start new stuff, but it's the people around me, it's my shepherds and my teachers, what I call my saints. These are the people that slow me down and to stop me and to make me think deeper about any decisions I make. And so we have our apes and our saints. So when we start to think about building a team and a culture, how are you going to develop it? Now, it's quite an interesting part about this whole development. Remembering there's 3 personalities that are apes and there's 2 of the saints. You need to have a balance where there's slightly more push towards moving forward. If you don't have a move forward strategy, in other words, have enough energy to move forward, if you have an out of balance where your saints are having so much of a say, they all keep on saying stop, 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 you'll never get anywhere. So you need to keep the momentum forward and have just that slight imbalance towards energy and moving forward. But you cannot be naive enough or arrogant enough not to listen to the saints because they have got the pearls of wisdom. Obviously, when you start to get these 2 groups of personalities, if they're a strong personality, strong leader, they are going to want to clash. And that's why this is called a pest. If we get a team running well, we all become a pest to one another. We all will create some form of tension. And it's about creating this DNA culture where we can actually have a little bit of tension, but at the same time, be in synergy and harmony. I want to say to you, there's a whole bunch of resources around this below. How do we actually get the right personalities? How do we get the right team culture? And how do we make it organically grow? Now, the next thing I want to think about is if we've actually got the right DNA, we've got our first 5 people in our DNA APEST pod. How do we grow to the next one? Well, when we actually think about this pod, these are your core and your key leaders. These are people you've identified from day one are going to lead your team to the next level. And if they're not, you maybe need to replace them. Because these 5 people will eventually carry the DNA into their respective departments. Let me give you one example, and we'll go right to the middle one, the energizer. Quite often the energizer is your sales and marketing sort of person. Doesn't have to be, but it is a typical one when we're starting. And so what happens is, as that energizer moves off and starts creating his circle of influences and his circle of help, that energizer is an energizer within the core leadership. But when they come over here, they become the adventurer. They carry the vision and the strategy to their particular pod area. And so if we take that to the next step, in that, now your energizer has moved into an adventurer position, he needs to get another energizer with them. And that energizer might be now the sales manager, where your energizer at the start, who's now an adventurer, is now more your business development manager. So as we organically grow, it will actually keep on carrying the DNA down the line and you consistently grow strongly. Culture is a big part of that, and there's a whole other set of videos and resources around how to build a team culture and how to recruit well. You'll see links to those down the bottom of this page as well. I just want to commit to you to start thinking clearly. Don't just build a team and say, oh, this is what I need and that's what I need. You need to think this through. You need to come up with the right plans and start setting some goals. Start to create an organisational profile, an organisational DNA that will work for you long term. Again, down the bottom here is a little template that will help you to understand how these pods work. And it's got the energizer and the different roles in it. And what you do is you start to put in there the actual positions of the people that you need to be fulfilling. making sure at all times you surround yourself with the key personality types and the drivers. Remembering skill set. Skill set is different to personality. I have actually seen many people who are business development managers who are very much a teacher type, or could be an energizer type, or could be a shepherding or a planner. It doesn't particularly matter the skill set. What is important is having the different sorts of personalities surrounding the adventurer. And then as well, you actually make sure you've got the core skills to make sure that that pod is going to move forward. I hope that's been helpful to you. Look through the resources. Love to hear some comments and feedback. This site is going to continue to grow with more and more resources over time. So please come back and visit every now and again. Every now and again, we'll actually send you a little video and a little email with any updates that's coming. Go out there, transform the way in which you build your team, and live an awesome life.